Hey folks, it's Paul here from ImpulsiveCulinarian.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate cake. I'm going to tell you how to make a fail-safe, go-to gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate cake recipe that is truly delicious. So throughout my culinary adventures, I always wondered, is there a standard gluten-free or dairy-free chocolate cake recipe? In the baking world, there's definitely a standard. There's no messing around with the de facto standard of what you do to make cake, whether it's chocolate, vanilla, whatever the case might be. In the gluten-free world, not so much. There really is no standard. I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff. There's people using avocado. There's all kinds of ground nuts, and you name it. Some of them work. Some of them taste really good. But it's so temperamental. It's very picky. Hard to make just want to make cake. That's it. I want it to work every time. So I've spent years, as I've done with many of my gluten-free, dairy-free recipes, finding something that works every time. So what I want to share with you now is my standard, my quintessential recipe for gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate cake. Here's what you need. Okay, so here's the ingredients you're going to need to make this recipe. 1/2 cup of freshly brewed black coffee. 1/2 cup of almond or coconut milk. Now, it doesn't matter if you use unsweetened or sweetened, because you're using such a small amount, it won't make a huge impact in the end of the recipe. So it's entirely up to you, as long as it's non-dairy. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, preferably the pure vanilla extract. Okay, let's move on to the dry ingredients. 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. 1/3 cup of corn flour, not the cornmeal, corn flour. 1/3 cup of millet flour. 1/3 cup of sweet rice flour. This is great stuff. It acts a little bit like a starch, but it still retains a lot of the flour properties. Make sure to find it. It's a little bit difficult depending on where you shop, but it's sweet white rice flour. 1/3 cup of tapioca flour. Tapioca flour and tapioca starch are the exact same thing. 1/3 cup of potato starch, not to be confused with potato flour. Make sure to get potato starch. And then 1/2 teaspoon of guar or xanthan gum. Guar is a little more affordable, but either one is fine. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a pinch of salt, 1/4 teaspoon. So lastly, the butter and sugar ingredients are as follows. You're going to need 3/4 cup of, well, not butter, but some kind of a dairy-free margarine. We use Earth Balance soy and dairy-free margarine, but if you have a different product that works for you, that's great. So 3/4 cup of that. 1 1/4 cup of sugar, whether that's organic cane sugar, if you can tolerate refined sugar, whatever is good for you. And lastly, 2 organic eggs. Oh, I'm excited. So let's make some moist, delicious, gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate cake that you could use for any occasion. First thing you do, preheat the oven to 350. Get yourself a normal 9-inch cake pan, okay, just like this, and cut yourself a piece of parchment paper. Put that in the bottom, not wax paper, parchment paper. All right, so let's mix up the wet ingredients. Get yourself a clean bowl and 1/2 cup of dairy-free, either coconut milk, almond milk. They make these blends too that are kind of nice. If you like your cake a little bit sweeter, use the sweetened milk. If you don't, use the unsweetened. I'm using unsweetened coconut milk, 1/2 cup. And because you're probably making cake in the morning, get yourself fresh coffee, 1/2 cup. I think I have some too. True Canadians put maple syrup in their coffee. To your coffee and milk mixture, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. Okay, so give that a quick whisk and put it aside. Next, get a big mixing bowl, put all your dry ingredients in there, and whisk them together until they're nice and consistent. Dry ingredients whisked in a bowl, check. Okay, now get yourself a second mixing bowl. I know, 2 bowls. A big mixing bowl. This is where all of the cake batter is going to be mixed together. Take your margarine, soften it up a bit with a sturdy spoon. Doesn't take too long, just get it nice and smooth and ready to receive the sugar. Add your sugar into the margarine. You could use a spoon or a cake spatula, whatever's easiest for you. You want to blend this together until it's nice and smooth. And there we have margarine and sugar all combined together to make like it's one ingredient. To the margarine and sugar mixture, you want to add 2 eggs, organic eggs. Go organic. Mix that up really well. There you have your sugar, margarine, and eggs all mixed together until they're nice and smooth, a nice paste. No lumps of sugar left in there. So this is the master bowl, the one with the margarine and the eggs and your sugar in there. That's where everything is going to go into, okay? So first thing you want to put in there is your wet mixture, all right? Your coffee and your coconut milk and vanilla extract. Gently whisk that together so it's nice and combined. Now that'll make for a nice soupy mixture ready to receive your dry ingredients, all your flour mix. So next you want to add your dry ingredients into the wet mixture. You can do around half at a time. If you're brave, do the whole thing. It's up to you. Start with the cake spatula. Once you've got everything incorporated together, the last part is to make sure that you have no more little dry lumps in there, okay? So I would go at it now with a great big whisk. Call in the whisk! Ah, there you go. That's what you need. No lumps, no bumps. So once you see that this is pretty much chocolate soup, you might say, it's very liquidy, Paul. I don't know. It's exactly right. Most of the gluten-free, dairy-free stuff that I made, it's a lot more liquidy than it is solid. You know, traditional cakes are not like this when you put them into the pan. But trust me, you'll see. Coffee break! Okay, so get your parchment-lined 9-inch cake pan. Clean off your spatula, get this in there. Okay, it's in the pan, and no need to level that. It's already leveled up liquid cake. Let's transform it. Okay, so with your oven at 350, put this in the center rack for 35 minutes. So whether it's regular cake or gluten-free cake, around 30 minutes, okay, 5 minutes before the end of the cooking time, get yourself a toothpick, do the little test in the middle, all right? Make sure that it comes out dry. Okay, I'm at 5 minutes before the end of my cooking time, i.e. 30 minutes. I'm just going to do a toothpick test to see what happens. Now that comes out wet for sure. So I'm going to leave it in for the full 35 minutes. Okay, 35 minutes done. Take it out. Ah, delicious. A little cracking on the top, but trust me, there's a lot of nice, moist chocolate cake inside. So let's see what it looks like at 35 minutes. There you go. Nice and dry. So that means that not 5 minutes ago, it was just undercooked. Now, I've done a lot of cakes. I know that 35 minutes is the right amount of time. And that previous exercise is just to prove to you that this is exactly when it is just cooked. To wait another 5 minutes, it would be a little bit dry. It would be overcooked. It's that finicky. That's the trick with gluten-free, dairy-free stuff. You got to be right on. So depending on the weather, you want to check it 5 minutes before the end just to make sure. So set it on a cooling rack and let it cool in its pan for around 20 minutes before you transfer it to another plate. If you're making a single cake like this, 35 minutes is the right amount of time to cook it. If you're doubling it up to make a 2-layer cake, you want to add another 5 minutes to the cooking time. So you can do this as a double batch. Put them in the oven, both your pans in the middle rack, and cook the whole thing for 40 minutes total instead of 35. I'm going to wait for this to cool 20 minutes. I'm going to cut it up and show you how nice and moist it is. Okay, so I've let this cake cool for 20 minutes. Now, I'm not going to decorate and build a beautiful cake or anything like that. I just want to show you the basics of a standard gluten-free, dairy-free cake recipe, and then you can let your imagination do the rest. But let's just have a look. After 20 minutes, it's going to be easy to just pop out of the pan. There you go. You take off the parchment paper, of course, and you can easily transfer this back to a cake plate, whatever you're going to use to build your final product. So the video doesn't do it justice, but this cake is still lovely and warm and moist. Now, I've just made a couple of cuts here with my knife, and I want to show you what happens when you take this cake out. It's absolutely gorgeous, all right? It's still moist and soft, and it tastes delicious. As soon as you say chocolate cake, kids come running. You want a piece of this? It's still morning, yes. But go right ahead. Let's cut a little piece. You go ahead. Let this be the true. Oh, okay, they're all coming out of the woodwork now. What do you think of that? Is that all right? Yeah, top notch. You want some too?
Yes, I'm gonna be a taster.
Oh my God. Okay, so cakes ahoy! There you have it. Some beautiful, moist, soft, delicious chocolate cake. You could use this for anything. Birthday cakes. What else can you use it for?
Muffins.
Muffins. That's right. Any cake application that you can think of. All right, beat it. So there you have it. That's my version of a gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate cake recipe that you can count on in a pinch, no matter what the application. Birthdays and special occasions, muffins, double size, you name it, it works. And it's delicious. If you like this video, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel because there's a lot more coming. And by all means, if you know anyone who's living with an allergy restriction, gluten-free, dairy-free restriction in their life, share this video with them. They deserve to have amazing chocolate cake. They shouldn't be punished just because of their allergen restrictions. My name's Paul from ImpulsiveCulinarian.com, and I'll see you in the next video. It's never too early